Today, I'm speaking with someone who has spent more than 3 decades transforming people in the most demanding environments imaginable. Giles Wiley is known simply as the Transformation Guy, a peak performance strategist who helps business leaders and business owners unlock clarity, overcome overwhelm, and step into the next level of who they need to become. His background is extraordinary. A former national martial arts champion, a coach who's traveled the world studying physical, mental, and spiritual performance, and a man who has guided thousands through high pressure moments where failure wasn't an option. Today, we're diving into what transformation really looks like, not just in the gym or the dojo, but in business, leadership, and life. Giles, welcome.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, so kick us off with what do people need to know about Giles Wiley?
Wow. Well, I feel like I've been on this journey, frankly, since almost day one. And it really came about through trying to understand the world around me and the feelings within me as a kid, and then through my teens into my 20s. And um, I eventually have worked out that basically anything that was going on within me was what was going on within the world around, rather than the opposite way around. Everybody thinks the world impacts the inner, but it's the inner that impacts the world. It took a lot of time and effort to get to that, but once I had identified that, then I applied those same rules to my business and to my coaching, and it's transforming everything. What we're finding with businesses is that business leaders don't need more information, they don't need more education. Most of them know what to do, but they need transformation. They need to work from the inside out.
Hmm. Yeah, so for somebody who is coming to this realization and wanting to work with you, can you speak to the transformation that you're offering? What does transformation look like?
Yeah, so what I find is any business owner, any business leader out there, frankly, most of the people out there had a vision, a dream at some point in their life. Maybe it was when they aged 6, 7, and they, had a dream of working on cars, whatever it was. But at some point they had a dream, they had a vision. And then unfortunately, life started to limit that. It got smaller and smaller, and then maybe take it away altogether. And they got trapped basically in survival mode of paying the bills, of going to work at this time, of coming home and just being exhausted. But they lost that ability to dream and have vision. So I try and start with bringing that back. So what we do is we'll do some breathing exercises, perhaps take them out of fight and flight, and we go far out. We look at, okay, it's 20 years down the line, kids have left home, they've gone off to college, started their own lives. What do you see now? Then maybe we'll come back 10 years, like, what do you see now? And I encourage them to dream big, almost impossibly big when we're out of that 20-year goal. Go really big. Like at some point, you probably dreamt of impacting the whole world. You dreamt of doing something to change people's lives for the better. Can we get back to that? Then we work our way back from 10 to 5 to 3, and we can slowly get maybe more realistic, but it still wants to be a big dream. And then we'll come all the way back to 90-day. And I try and focus on 90-day transformations, but most of my clients ends up staying with me for much longer anyway.
Yeah, beautiful. I think the visualization is so key and probably something you utilized in your gym, right? So I'd love to know, that transition to becoming a coach after being a different type of coach. So what has the gym taught you into your professional career now?
Yeah, for 30 years almost, I worked with fighters, and that teaches you so much. Fighting, the guy who wins often isn't the one with the best technical skills. Same as I'm saying, business leaders who succeed aren't always the ones with the best education and information, right? It's the ones who can take information and apply it. They're the ones who are able to focus their energy and keep moving forwards. Um, so yeah, training fighters was in so many ways the best training possible to now work with business owners, business leaders, working on all these different tricks for mindset. I ended up delving into pretty much everything I could, not just sports psychology, neuro-linguistic programming, meditation, heading out to India and Sri Lanka to work more on things like that, all the ancient systems, Qigong, yoga, and then how can we bring it all together? Um, and also the physicality, how can we bring that into it? So, yeah, it was just really bringing everything together to help people perform under pressure.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so you do that through coaching now, but you're also
Yeah.
writing a book. I'd love to hear
Yeah,
more
yeah.
about this
So the
book.
book is a transformational biography. It's my life.
What's it called, by the way?
It's called The Waking Warrior.
Yeah.
The Waking Warrior, and it's my life. And what I want to do is I want to give people the lessons and want them to find the answers within those lessons themselves.
Mm,
I don't want it to be a self-help book where I'm up here on a pedestal saying I'm the expert and this is how you need to do it. It's easier to do it that way. And frankly, people often prefer it that way. But what they don't realize is they've given away their power. And even though they may take in those lessons intellectually, it's not going deep into their body. It's only when they look at the narrative and they find the lessons themselves and they're like, ah, this is how it applies to my life. This is how it applies to my business. Only then that it becomes part of them and that it's so much more powerful.
mm,
So it's a transformational biography, um, going through some quite painful things. I'm being as honest and as open as I need to be. Um, I've got a very clear mission that I have to share this message to help as many people as possible.
mm.
Um, and I think I know it's going to be very, very powerful. So should be coming out summer of 26.
Beautiful. Okay, and who am I to if I want to qualify if I'd be a good candidate to work with you or to read the book, what are maybe some of the symptoms, some of the things that I'm dealing with as a business owner?
Yeah. So if you're a business owner that has a mission or a purpose to change the community, change the world around you in whatever way it is, I want to work with you. I want to help you. If you're a business owner who feels stuck in survival mode, in fight or flight, in just paying the bills and getting by from one month to the next, I want to work with you. I want to come back to what your big dream used to be and help you see the big picture and what can be accomplished.
Mm,
It was during COVID, I almost lost the business. We were down to lost couple of $100 in the bank account, almost lost it all. And I hired a coach. I couldn't really afford it, but I knew I couldn't afford not to do it. And me and that coach, over a period of the next 2 years, we tripled the best the business had ever been at. And we grew it to the point where I had the freedom and the space to actually step back and say, okay, I feel like I've taken this as far as I can take it now. I'm going to sell it to somebody who's actually kept growing it. And all the staff is still there. It's just kept on growing. But I have a bigger mission now. So that's what I realized. So I want to help you see that bigger mission again. I want to help you grow your business to the point where you can decide to scale it, to sell it, to franchise it, whatever you want to do. But I want to take you out of that fight or flight survival mode where my fighters used to be at one point, and I want to take you to that bigger picture.
mm. Yeah, it seems to me when you're aligned to that bigger vision, that bigger picture, you sometimes are asked to do things that you couldn't have seen or would have previously felt uncomfortable with. So I think it's interesting that you were a business owner, believing in what you were doing and the impact you were making, and then it became clear that your mission was even bigger than that and doing something difficult, like selling something that you had worked so hard to build. So yeah, can you speak to that perspective of like when that clicked for you and how a coach made help you, see that perspective that maybe you couldn't have seen on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. I often use the analogy of back when I used to train fighters, right? And some of these were really elite, world-class guys. They would be working and training, working together in the ring, say they're sparring. And the one person might keep getting caught by the same technique, right? And even though he's world class, me hanging over ropes, I can see it, but he can't see it in that moment. He has the knowledge how to block that kick that keeps hitting him. But in the moment, caught up, he's not seeing it. But the coach can. So I would call them over and say, hey, you keep getting caught the same way. What do you think you can change? Give them that space to start to explore. What do they think they could change? Give my input, but help them find the answer within themselves. And really, that's what a business coach for me did for me. I was in the ring as in the business, and I was overwhelmed. I keep getting caught by the punches, caught by the punches. I knew what to do. I had the education and the information. But in that moment, you feel overwhelmed. You're stuck in fight or flight.
Mm.
By having that somebody with the space to point it out and to help you find the answers, you find the answers, and then you end up creating the space yourself. Then every day, every week, you have that space so you can actually see the business rather than being in the business.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the key right there. That the overwhelm, right? The being in fight
Yeah.
or flight. I maybe couldn't or wouldn't have identified myself in that in previous instances, and then it's a game changer when you realize, oh, there's a different way to be. There's a different, because it's interesting. Fighters, you almost think, fight or flight is in the term, like so it's advantageous to be in fight or flight. So why would it be advantageous to not be in fight or flight? And please answer like in terms of a fighter, but also a business owner. What's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
benefit?
that's a great question. And the fighters who are the calmest and able to see the most, almost you don't want to have too much emotion in it, right? We want to take out the expectations and the outcomes. The fighters that are the calmest and are living in the present moment, in the now, not going into where I'm going to win this or not, they are the most successful. They're basically living in what would be called the zone or the flow state.
Mm,
Flow state is 100% present moment in the fight. In training, we're looking at the big picture. We're like, okay, what technique can we drill? How do we prepare for this? But in that moment, you are in the moment and able to see everything clearly. If you're stuck in fight or flight, you can't. One of the number one, one of the number one cues of if you're going into fight or flight is tunnel vision. Right? If somebody has major adrenaline dump, they get tunnel vision. They also get tunnel hearing, tunnel focus, but it's tunnel vision. So if you are feeling like you have tunnel vision, it's an indication you're stuck in fight or flight.
mm,
And we often utilize fight or flight for energy, and it can become almost an addictive energy. We have to be careful of this, particularly in countries like the US and the UK, where sometimes hustle culture is encouraged. The energy from adrenaline and stress hormones can almost become addictive. It can become like extra shots of 3 espressos. Um, Yet I'll often use the parable of the man who built his house on sand. If you're utilizing fear and adrenaline to drive you forward, yes, in the short term, it can be powerful. But in the long term, it's that house built on sand, it's unstable and it generally will come crashing down. Whereas if you're working from the opposite of fear, which is basically love and abundance, if you're working from that place, it's like building your house on rock. Then it's going to become more stable. It's going to be something you can keep building up, building up, building up.
mm,
And once you make that shift from fear and fear of failure, fear of pain, to moving towards something, moving towards love and abundance, it becomes almost this magical thing where instead of pushing, you're getting drawn towards it. And it sounds crazy, but I would see it in the ring. The guys who were calm, not too worried about even winning or losing at the time, frankly, having fun. When they brought the fun aspect back to it, they'd be the most successful.
mm,
Um, and I've played with it myself over decades of lifting weights, of hitting pads. I would try it with an angry state, and I would try it with a loving state. It's going to sound ridiculous, but I would literally be hitting a pad and be saying in my head, I love this. I love this. And the energy would actually increase. The pad holder would go, you're punching harder. You're punching harder when something changed. And I wouldn't tell them what it was, but it was a mind shift to change there.
Wow. Yeah, very interesting. There's this dynamic that it's the trying of new things, or like, yeah, being humble enough to open yourself up to this new technique. Because like you said, there's a lot of benefit to the sand castle, if you will, right? These instantaneous dopamine hits is what I might call them. So is there something that's required of a client? Is it humility? Is it, maybe they're just kind of at their wits' end, or they want another way? Like, what are some of the symptoms that you see that indicate people are ready for this?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. So it's like I was saying, with the adrenaline, the cortisol, you're going to get tunnel vision. So if you feel like you're stuck in tunnel vision, or frankly, you feel at your wits' end, you feel
Mm.
like you almost want to quit, like you're
Like there's
struggling to
there's
get
got to
past
be
the
another
month to
way,
month.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, there's something magical sometimes about being basically at the bottom, right? It's like, okay, let's start building it again. Let's start building it again, but let's build it better this time. Let's build it from a different place, right? Let's not build it on the sand this time. Let's build it on that stable base. And
sure.
let's build it with all this past years of knowledge. And maybe we can even reframe those past years and don't look at them as failures. Like, okay, what did we learn? What did we learn? What did we learn? Okay, how can we do it differently in the future? And how can we build something beautiful that can keep growing almost without us?
Mm,
And I think that's when it gets interesting, right? It's like, how can we take our own ego and our own identity out of the business? Even though you may never want to sell the business, as soon as you start thinking, how can I build this business to sell it and for it to keep growing without me? By removing yourself, again, you've given that space to allow it to grow and to move out of that place of your ego and your fear and your adrenaline driving it.
yeah, beautiful. And so somebody watching this who their ears are perked up, how can they work with you? How do they reach you? How do they contact you? What else would you like them to know?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. My website's gileswiley.com. I'm also on Instagram, Giles Wiley, and I'm partnered with Pro Advisor Coach, North America's leading business coaching company. So you can find me on proadvisorcoach.com as well. And whoever you are, whatever you're going through, just know that you can do it and that there are answers, no matter how hard it is. There are answers. Don't give up. Reach out to me, even if you think this isn't quite for you or you maybe can't afford it. Reach out to me. I'm happy to speak to any of you out there to help you in any way I can.
Beautiful. Well, Giles, it's been nice talking to you. Final word? Any final yeah, thing you want to put out there?
Yeah, just you can do it. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and it will all fall into place.
Mm, beautiful. Great connecting with you today.
Thank you, Josh.